Welcome to episode 3 of Project XB. In this episode, what we're going to do is continue with our AOD installation, so let's get into it.
I had to make a couple of changes to the Castlemaine rod shop crossmember. Reason being is it didn't quite fit in the hole. You can see that I've taken the ears off there a little bit, so that's what it looks like. So it's pretty good, however I just needed to take that corner out so that it would fit nice on the chassis horns. So not the greatest of camera angles, but we'll get this crossmember installed. Try our best not to scratch either the crossmember or underneath the vehicle. So I'm just going to slightly just try our best to fit it in, and then we'll go and we'll do a bit of a time lapse for the rest of it, because otherwise it gets boring. Okay, so we're just fitting the shifter hump now, and I like to use some mastic sealant on the shifter hump just to try to keep out as much moisture as we can, because as we know, these XBs are hygroscopic and they will rust as soon as you look at them. So enjoy this one. Again, what I'll do is once we've put this sealer on there, I'll make it into a time lapse so that it doesn't get too boring. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I forgot to hit the time lapse on
setting up our selector linkage. But anyway, looking at this, all I've done is use a rod with a couple of heam joints on the end, or rose joints. And what I've needed to do is actually space it out at the transmission end. I've also had to put a slight bend in it as well, that you can sort of see a bit better here, just so that I could get the selector lever to not foul anything going from park, reverse, neutral, drive 1 and 2. That's pretty much all I've had to do, so it wasn't a very difficult task, and you can see the rose joint there.
Okay, time to fit the bolts for the torque converter, and I'm just going to just wind them in, make sure that the torque converter is going in nice, see what the other bolts are doing. They should be just pushing out just a little bit, that other one that I've got up in that top right hand side. I'll just wind them in, and then once I get the torque converter to seat, I will then use a tension wrench and put a final tension on there and then turn it around. But again, this is one of those things that's going to get boring after you've seen me do one. So what we'll do is we'll hit another time lapse. Okay, so the crossmember's in, and as you most likely would have already seen, we had a pretty average looking pan underneath it, but that was just so that we didn't damage this one. So what we've got is a deep pan, and hopefully this will give us better cooling properties by having more fluid in it. So we'll go and fit this.
So we've got our drive shaft, and the drive shaft has been shortened by 25mm to accommodate the longer length of the AOD. So we'll put this in and then we'll catch you up in a minute. So the drive shaft is now attached to the diff. The drive shaft is in the hole, and as we come along we can see that's sitting nicely exactly where it's supposed to be. So 25mm was the magic number. You can also see here our shift linkage. So our shift linkage is fitting up nicely onto our transmission, so that will go through all the ranges quite easily. We've got our deep pan, and we've got our modified trans cross member, and you can see that that clears the exhaust quite nicely. So that is pretty much it as far as the install goes. You can see the original speedo cable has gone into the AOD, so that's all good. We've got the original, or brand new original C10 style, FMX style trans mount, so that fits quite nicely as well. So everything is buttoned up. Okay, so that's it for today. What we need to do to finish off our AOD install, we need to run a transcooler and transcooler lines. We also need to go and fit our throttle valve and accelerator cable, but we're not going to be able to adjust it until such time as we get the vehicle running. Stay tuned for the next episode where we start looking at the wiring and some of the wiring modifications that we're going to be doing to Project XB. We'll catch you on the next one. If you like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.